It's the start of the season at Burnley take on Premier League champions Manchester City. Hello and welcome. I'm Kevin Ferris, your commentator for this evening here on the Premier League Live on. It's the champions again. As Vincent Kompany opposing Doug, who will emerge victorious tonight, the master or the student? Term news. It's a big night for James Trafford, who makes his debut in goal for Burnley after signing from Manchester City this summer. Also making their debuts for the and Amin Al-Dakhil, midfielder Sander Berge, and forwards Zeki Amdouni and Luka Kilosho. Nathan Redmond could make his return to English football from the bench after joining Burnley from Besiktas. Is lined up for a first appearance for the club as a substitute. Pep Guardiola names an attacking lineup with Julian Alvarez set to line up in midfield alongside Kevin De Bruyne and behind Erling Haaland. Phil Foden is selected ahead of Jack Grealish on the left wing, while Rico Lewis and Kyle Walker are set to line up as the fullbacks. Josko Vardiol and Mateo Kovacic could make their City debuts from the bench, but there's no Ruben Dias, John Stones or Joao Cancelo in the squad. Just moments away from kickoff here at Turf Moor, an electric atmosphere for a new Premier League season. Kickoff is in just a moment. Hello, good evening and welcome to a brand new Premier League season here on LFS. It's the champions and the treble winners against Vincent Kompany's newcomers Burnley in the Premier League. We have an incredible opening weekend for you. 4 live games here on LFS right through this weekend, and they will all be ones to watch for various different reasons. This one, the big story. Vincent Kompany, of course, won so many trophies with Manchester City under Pep Guardiola, also comes up against his former club and former manager, with his side hosting the opening Premier League game of the season. Welcome to everyone in the chat. We're going to be interacting about all the latest transfer news. Plus, of course, this game takes the pole position. This game is what is important tonight in this competition. Manchester City are an incredible Premier League force, winning 5 of the last 6 titles. Can they do it all again. I mean, they do it every season, but can they do it even more this season and even better this season? I don't know how that's possible, but they can try. Under Pep Guardiola, anything is possible with Manchester City. And as they are ready for kickoff in a moment, the players just in a huddle there, the Manchester City players, ahead of the kickoff here, of course, without their former captain last season. Ilkay Gundogan isn't here, of course, signed on a free to Barcelona in the summer, which is surely a big loss in the middle of the park for Manchester City. Our referee this evening is Craig Pawson. And of course, a lot of crackdown on time wasting from the officials this season. We'll see how it impacts the opening Premier League game of this season. Burnley in their traditional claret and blue, and Manchester City in their changed strip of the white shirt with maroon shorts and socks. Well, Vincent Kompany is the 8th manager to win a divisional title, with Burnley, of course, winning the championship title last season. And the newcomers will get us underway in just a second. On the whistle of Craig Pawson. And ahead of the new season, of course, the players will take the knee in saying there is no room for racism in the Premier League or in society. It's met by a decent applause around Turf Moor, and a new Premier League season gets underway at one of the most horrible atmospheres for an away set of fans and players. And we will see what Vincent Kompany's Burnley can offer up against the champions tonight. Of course, we have that poll in the chat. You can get involved with that. Also get involved in the chat. Tell us what you think's going to happen tonight. How this game's going to play tonight. Interesting information you have for us. Let us know. Here's Ake. Looking for a long ball down the left. Foden gets the first touch to it, but it's good defending by Connor Roberts at the back there. And it will be a City throw-in on this left-hand side. Well, I don't know if there's a bit of bias there. Manchester City in the chat has said Manchester City 4-1 against Burnley tonight. A exciting opening night then, predicted. That's good pressing on that left-hand side there from Lyle Foster for Burnley. City have another throw-in though. And there's been a lot of speculation over a few City players. Kyle Walker's been the main man in terms of speculation of moves away from the Premier League champions and the treble winners this summer. But he starts here tonight, and he's going to look to maybe see the season out with the club. We will see what happens. Still a long way to go in the transfer window. Here's Edison with his first couple of touches. Long diagonal out to the right for Kyle Walker. Touches it back to De Bruyne. De Bruyne. Bernardo Silva, now an oncoming Rodri. Pressed beautifully by Burnley as they pick it up here. And Amdouni is taken down there by Kevin De Bruyne. And that will be a free kick to the home side this evening. Good evening, Ron. Welcome to the chat. Good to have you back for another season, LFS. Yes, indeed, Ron. Great to be back for a brand new Premier League season. Looking forward to it. And that Burnley free kick comes to nothing as City have the ball on the right-hand side. Silva trying to feed one through. It's good defending by Dara O'Shea, who is making his debut tonight in a Burnley shirt. And Kevin De Bruyne sees that one out. And City have their first corner of the season. We will see, of course, the early impact of Manchester City, whether they can cause Burnley some early problems. Of course, they were in previous seasons for Burnley. Manchester City loved having Burnley up against them. Here's Foden. Bernardo Silva back around the corner for De Bruyne. De Bruyne with the right foot, cross in. Rodri across it in! And Erling Haaland opens his account for the new season. It did not take long for Manchester City. The treble winners strike first here at Turf Moor in just about 3 minutes. And it's Erling Haaland again. It all comes from the corner. It's recycled beautifully by Foden. Bernardo Silva with a deft pass to De Bruyne out on the right-hand side. Right across goal to the back post. Rodri heads it across and around 6 yards from goal. Erling Haaland there with a lovely tap in. Bottom left corner. No one can do anything about that. And Manchester City, the champions of the Premier League and the treble winners, are ahead here at Turf Moor in a matter of minutes. That is absolutely top class from Erling Haaland. And what a way to get your season going. City 1, Burnley 0. My goodness me. What a start for Manchester City. And that was the big issue that we talked about pre-game. Were Burnley able to hold Man City out for a good number of time? You know, you said a lot about new coming teams in the Premier League. Against the big teams, you have to take it in small increments. And Burnley, under their first corner they've conceded this evening, have conceded a goal from the very first chance for City. And that'll be something that Vincent Kompany will be very disappointed about. Haaland, Rodri, Lewis, Nathan Ake then. Out to Foden on the left. Back in field to Ake. And now Mamla Kanji. Ake now to Foden. Foden across, finds the space for De Bruyne. De Bruyne from distance. Just over the bar from Kevin De Bruyne. City are in a mood tonight. They're in the mood to put Burnley to the sword in their return to the league. Kevin De Bruyne, just beautiful pass by Phil Foden to find De Bruyne in that space. No one marking him. And it's just strikes right through the back of the ball. Kevin De Bruyne just loops over the bar for a goal kick. But decent there from City again. Burnley trying their best to press City and close them into spaces, but this Pep Guardiola team knows how to deal with pressure, especially pressure in a counter press. They always have a pass. Even there, Edison to Walker. Akanji under a bit of pressure. Edison also under pressure, but they just see themselves out of that there. City, and that epitomises it. They end up giving the ball away, and Burnley have a throw-in. It was just the pressure on the defence, and Amdouni here, goes down. Craig Pawson says no penalty. The home crowd say it was. Of course they would. And now there's a City player down who's been fouled. It's just a bit frantic here in the last few moments. Just see this again. The throw-in taken quickly. Ake's just a bit caught off the ball. Akanji and Amdouni are battling. And there's not really any for a penalty. Ball's over. I wouldn't call that a penalty. There's an argument for it, to be fair, but I think it is a bit soft on Zeki Amdouni. And VAR did have their first involvement of the season, but nothing doing from that. The game will play on. The referee apparently did get the correct decision, which I would agree with. Well, what a start to the season. 7 minutes in, we've had a penalty shout and a goal. What a way to get the Premier League back up and running again. Edison tries to play it into midfield. A bit cute there from Edison. Amdouni picks up the loose ball and is fouled this time by Kyle Walker. And that will be a free kick to Burnley inside the City half. Edison just seemed a bit too calm and a bit too lax there. Just lofted a ball into midfield. There was not enough for Manchester City there in midfield to take control of that possession, and Burnley pick up the loose ball and win the free kick. To the back post. for Burnley. Edison then. Manuel Akanji for City. All the way back to Edison again. Burnley doing well at trying to apply a squeeze on this City defence. Well, interestingly, when conceding first last season, Burnley in the Championship, they ended up winning 5 of the 10 games they conceded first, only losing 2 out of 10. This is a whole new test in the Premier League, especially against the champions. Nathan Ake. Edison. Long ball down the middle from Edison. First header by Foden. Intercepted briefly there, but City have the ball back. All the way back to Nathan Ake again. It seems like City just have this power, constant power of getting bodies in the right spaces to recover the ball. And that's really nice from Kyle Walker to win the throw-in on that right-hand side. Well, we will keep you up to date with any transfer information. Of course, we've had some news this evening that Chelsea are close to a deal for Romeo Lavia of Southampton. They're also preparing a bid to go in for Caicedo. Yet to see that bid for Caicedo, but apparently Chelsea are preparing that bid. And any other information that breaks this evening, we'll keep you up to date with it here on Premier League Live. Here's Phil Foden. It's just pushed off the ball there by another Burnley debutant. Look at Kolesho. It's his first senior start this evening. He made 6 substitute appearances for Espanyol last season. Well, he's already got his first Premier League start. Here's Kevin De Bruyne. Right-footed cross in, headed away. Amdouni tries to take it away, but Rodri wins it back. Now De Bruyne. Another cross to the back post and Haaland there, but over the bar. Behind for a goal kick. Erling Haaland and De Bruyne, that link up again looks threatening. It's really good from Rodri to pick the ball up, not allow Burnley out of that, and keeping that pressure on for City. Feeds it out to the left for De Bruyne, just edge of the box. Left-footed cross right across goal, and there was 2 bodies there. It's for City at the back post. Bernardo Silva and Erling Haaland, and Haaland got the connection, but was straight over the bar for a goal kick. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications for if you don't want to miss any live streams this season. Of course, we've got so much football to come for you over the next few, months. We're hoping here with the Premier League just starting tonight. We've 3 more games to come for you this weekend. We'll let you know about all of those over the weekends. As you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, all the fixtures for the opening weekend are listed down the left-hand side. We've gone for a slightly changed format this season. I hope you like it. De Bruyne. No, not on the same page as his attackers there. They were trying to organise their way forward as James Trafford tries to see it out for Burnley. Roberts just about keeps it in. Bit of head tennis here to control the ball, and the ball falls to Nathan Ake, who recovers and goes back to Edison. And Jerry says, welcome back, Premier League. Yes, it's great to have Premier League football back for another season. We've duly missed it. Heard something like 75 days since Premier League football, since there was the last Premier League game of the season, back in late May. Here's Manuel Akanji. Ball through the middle is given straight to Burnley, who can try and force a counter, but the ball from Foden that deflected away actually might have found Lyle Foster there. But City do get out of that one. Walker, pressure put on him. Now Burnley have it on the left. Cullen. And they go back and recycle possession. Here's Jordan Bayer. O'Shea. Bayer. Nice ball to find Foster. Out to the left is Vitinho, and he will get the throw in. Vitinho. It was really good pressing there again from Burnley. Very impressive. Putting that City defence under a bit of pressure, causing them to try and fire the ball away, and Burnley pick up the second ball, keep the pressure on. That's good from Amdouni. Linking up with Vitinho. And Amdouni with a switch ball. Finds it to Roberts on the right-hand side. Connor Roberts. Back to Aldakil. Now Dara O'Shea. Out to the right to find Roberts in space. Controls the ball with his chest. Now to... Lyle Foster. Gives it wide. Back to... a strike there from Luca Colescio. And just over the bar, but better from Burnley. They work it down that right-hand side with Connor Roberts. Colescio just picks it up, gives it to Foster. And it's a really nice ball out to the left-hand side for Vitinho, who takes his time, gives it back to Colescio, who cuts inside and takes the strike, but just unfortunately over the bar. Lacking the accuracy, but the approach play was perfect from Burnley there. Really, really good approach play. And Edison just trying to slow the game down again with the ball. He's come out of his 18-yard box quite a few times tonight. Pushing quite high up here, Edison. As we have surpassed the 15-minute mark here at Turf Moor. Nice touch there initially by the Burnley player Lyle Foster, but it's given away. Rodri. Now to Foden. Back to Rodri. They've got energy, Burnley. Back to Ake. Akanji. Out to the right-hand side for Bernardo Silva. Back to Walker. Now Akanji. And Ake. City just taking their time. Foden. Back to Nathan Ake again. Edison. Edison just taking his time on the ball. There's boos starting to ring around Turf Moor now. Left-footed ball right up to Erling Haaland, who's taken down there by Jordan Bayer. And that'll be a free kick to Manchester City. Just took his time there, Edison. Picked the perfect pass and won his side a free kick. Although the Burnley fans didn't quite like the delay, it ended up working out for Manchester City. And we will see what City can do from this set piece. De Bruyne lifts it over the top and it's straight through. What a save! It was a run from Rodri in behind, and what a save by James Trafford in the Burnley goal. I think there was an offside flag anyway. We'll see this again. It's Kevin De Bruyne. Might have been close. I think he might have been just offside, Rodri. But what a save. It was a necessary save by James Trafford in the end. Decent header by Rodri, right on goal, and save is made, and then the flag does go up. But the keeper didn't know that he was offside. Had to make that save, in his opinion. As Burnley pick it up with Colescio there. Josh Cullen. Out to the left for Vitinho. Colescio again. Lovely. Now Amdouni. Amdouni in the box and takes the first strike at Edison's goal. But Edison with a nice catch at it. But more positive play from Burnley. Working it in between the lines. Making runs in behind. And really nice feet. Again, Amdouni this time just spins away, gets past Ake and takes it with the left foot. Wasn't the best connection, but it was a strike nonetheless, and it's positive again from Burnley. Showing some good initiative so far. 18 minutes gone. Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. The opening goal coming from you-know-who, Erling Haaland, in the 4th minute of the game. With a lovely finish from a Rodri assist. Edison to Foden. Foden cried it out there as Koleosho picks the ball up. Tries to feed it to Roberts. Far too narrow that. Lewis picks it up then for City. Rico Lewis pressured again at the back. Lewis pushed on the ball, and that'll be a City free kick, I believe. Rico Lewis holding his head and his face now. It's a bit silly there from Koleosho. Not necessary. We'll see this again. If we get a replay, we will get a replay. We'll see it here again. It's Rico Lewis defending the ball up against Connor Roberts. Connor Roberts is just holding him there, and then Koleosho just comes in and just pushes him in the back. It's a bit unnecessary, that. And that's a free kick to City in their own corner, in their own half. Now, Riley Page in the chat. Burnley get battered everywhere they go. The chants have already started. We're on opening night, and the chants have already found their way into the chat. Edison then to take this free kick. And goes long. Haaland with the first header, but in the process he did foul Dara O'Shea there, so Burnley will get the free kick going the opposite way. Here is Dara O'Shea. Heavy touch, almost had Bernardo Silva in there. Back to Trafford, under pressure from Haaland. It's a nice control out to Roberts. Roberts tries to get it in field, but given away to De Bruyne. Now Haaland. Haaland under pressure and loses out to Josh Cullen. Trafford with a long ball. Trying to find Lyle Foster. Really, energy everywhere, Burnley. They're throwing everything at trying to win the ball back. And they haven't got the possession at the moment. Here's Nathan Ake. And he's just put the ball out of play here, Nathan Ake. Might be a problem here for one of the City players. It's Kevin De Bruyne. There might be an issue for De Bruyne. Of course, remember, in recent history, Kevin De Bruyne was taken off in the Champions League final last season with an injury. He's not long back from that injury, but he will get a check-up here. He doesn't look in the best of ways at the moment, Kevin De Bruyne. We will wait and see what the outcome of this will be. And in the meantime, I can tell you what's coming up. We have another more Premier League football, a double-header on Sunday. Brentford against Spurs is our early game on Sunday, 2 o'clock kickoff. I will be live from 1:50. And then Chelsea against Liverpool. All the drama and the saga in the transfer window off the pitch between the two clubs. But they will come up against each other at Stamford Bridge, 4:30 on Sunday afternoon. Well, Kevin De Bruyne, after getting a bit of treatment here, will just walk to the sidelines. Whether this will be the end of his game or not, we will find out in a second. He's taken the captain's armband off, though, which doesn't look too good. Yeah, it is. Kevin De Bruyne looks like he's coming off here because he's just given the captain's armband to Kyle Walker. And that'll be a massive blow, not just for Manchester City, but for Kevin De Bruyne himself. Of course, wanting to start in a new season, a brand new slate for him. Of course, with an injury-ravaged end of the season in the Champions League final, would have wanted to get back on the horse and back again with fit and firing, but it will be the end of his night here after just 22 minutes. And they will make the change. And it will be their new signing in midfield, Mateo Kovacic, who they've signed from Chelsea this summer. Manchester City will be coming on to replace Kevin De Bruyne, who has just left the field of play. Hasn't gone down the tunnel, is just going to sit on the bench, so maybe that's a good sign for the Belgian. But Mateo Kovacic, the Croatian, is on as his replacement. So City already lost their starting captain of the night for new signing Mateo Kovacic. And the throw in there from Koleosho, given straight back to City. Of course, that's the fair play rules. Well, it's an agreement between the clubs. It's Fair play. Akanji. Kovacic with his first action there. Kyle Walker is, of course, taking up the role of the captain here tonight for City with Kevin De Bruyne going off. So Walker assumes that role. Edison. Long ball to Haaland with a header. Brought down nicely by Foden. Foden with the pace and the power. But the ball wasn't great. Straight back to Burnley and into the hands of James Trafford for Burnley. Of course, a couple of other European leagues underway this evening. La Liga are underway, and Ligue 1 in France also getting underway this evening. So a few interesting leagues to keep an eye on tonight for you. We'll keep up to date with any of the scores from those. In La Liga, the first game of the season, Almeria against Rayo Vallecano. Rayo Vallecano 2-0 up, and they're about to hit the full-time whistle in that game any moment. City throw in on the right then. Kovacic. Nice touch to find Walker. Kyle Walker right across for Alvarez. And Alvarez beating off the ball there as Burnley clear their lines. Back to Ake. Akanji. 25 minutes gone here at Turf Moor. We've already had an injury issue, a VAR check for a penalty, and a goal. A very exciting start to the brand new Premier League season. Bernardo Silva. Mateo Kovacic. Nicely threaded ball. Finds Alvarez on the left-hand side. Trying to make a run down that left-hand side, but it's blocked off by two Burnley players, and that's really good from Alderweireld, who is fouled here by Julian Alvarez. Alderweireld, and Burnley will get the free kick here. Well, we're just seeing a replay of the incident with Rico Lewis, where he was fouled by Koleosho earlier. Just in a replay, there was actually something thrown from the crowd at Rico Lewis. It looked like a lighter of some sort, something of that extent, but an object was thrown from the crowd, which is, of course, something you never want to see in a football game, and something that no one in football condones, no matter who you support. And Burnley will get the throw in here. Connor Roberts. Alderweireld. Dara O'Shea. Back to Bayer. And now Alderweireld again. Roberts. Roberts with the ball to the middle. Lyle Foster with a nice first touch. Trying to battle for the ball, but Kovacic does well to win it back for City. Akanji. Lewis. Lewis gives a cheap ball away. And Amdouni's through here. Amdouni. Massive touch there from Rodri defensively to stop Amdouni. He was straight through there. And a really good defensive touch there from Rodri to take the ball away from him. Absolutely sensational defending. Lewis. My goodness me. It was a poor touch by Rico Lewis initially that allowed Amdouni through, but the fantastic defensive touch from Rodri denies Burnley the chance. Akanji. But it again shows the pressure that Burnley are putting on the Man City team in midfield. They're pressuring them, closing them down quite comfortably, and causing them real issues in possession at the moment, Burnley. That's a poor ball by Rodri. Given away, Lyle Foster writes the challenge of two. Foster! Right across goal. And just behind for a goal kick. But again, Lyle Foster causing issues. It was the pressure initially put on by Sander Berge for Burnley on Rodri. Makes him make a silly pass, a poor pass out to the left. Picked up by Lyle Foster, who rides a few challenges, cuts back, gets into the box, cuts back onto his right, and tries to curl it into the bottom right corner, but given away again by City as Koleosho was through there. And they just get away with that one again. City just look a bit nervous at the back, giving away a few cheap balls. Ake. And Rodri has to fire it clear. And that's really getting the Burnley fans up here as Koleosho has the ball. Cuts back. Koleosho. Sander Berge. Really good possession football there from Burnley. Al-Dakhil. Not on the same page as a centre forward there, Amdouni. And it'll run right through for Edison. But that's again more promising football from Burnley. They look threatening. See this again, it's Akanji. The poor ball, it's not the best of touches from Rico Lewis. It's not the best of passes from Akanji initially. But the touch from Rodri defensively against Amdouni was sensational to allow Edison to get the ball clear. And so far, Manchester City, when they're in possession and Burnley apply that pressure, they look a bit nervy. They don't look as confident as they normally do. Very interesting to see if Burnley can capitalise on one of those types of opportunities this evening. 30 minutes played in the opening Premier League game of the season. Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. Live on Premier League Live here on LFS this evening with our chat. And Erling Haaland picked up the ball from Edison, but again, Burnley quick on the scene to clear the ball away. Trafford trying to find his centre forward. And the ball from City found the other way. Back in Burnley possession again. Roberts. Al-Dakhil. Back to Trafford. Seems quite calm and collected there, James Trafford, as Erling Haaland was bounding in on him. And that pass from Al-Dakhil to Roberts was just a bit wide. And City get the throw. Rico Lewis, another poor touch from Lewis. Nice quick football from Burnley. Koleosho. Just beaten to the ball there by Rodri. Now Lewis. Kovacic. Akanji. To Rodri again. And they've got the possession again. City just passing it around the back. They've dominated possession so far. City 70-30 in City's favour, but chances have been quite even. 3 shots for each team. Both have 1 shot on target each, but City have the lead on the scoreline. Bernardo Silva. Lewis. Across to Akanji. To Rodri. Linking up nicely in the middle is Foden. Bernardo Silva. Back to Ake. Bernardo Silva again. Foden to Lewis. And now back to Akanji. City just playing keep ball at the moment. And they just want to regain that confidence in possession, City. Of course, they had a 5-minute spell there where Burnley were applying so much pressure they looked a bit nervy, but City, I'm sure, just want to keep possession and make those passes and get them in their areas correctly. Bernardo Silva, out wide to Walker. Walker on the right-hand side. Goes backwards to Akanji with a cross. Akanji with a cross in. Away by Al-Dakhil. The clearance falls to Silva. Foden gets it to Ake. Now Rodri. Silva. Nathan Ake. Bursting forward here. Goes back to Julian Alvarez. Bernardo Silva. Foden. Silva. Rodri to Ake in space. Ake on the left. Haaland moving around in that box. Gets it to Lewis. Goes back to Rodri. City just waiting for their moment to penetrate. Bernardo Silva with the cross. Half cleared. Walker recovers. Gets it to Akanji. Walker on the right-hand side. Beaten to the ball by Vitinho, but City will get the throw. Poll in the chat, 70% predicting a Man City win, 21% say Burnley win, 9% say a draw. Still keep those votes coming in. If you haven't voted already, it's be massive part of what we do here, getting your opinions. As Kovacic works it into the box and Foden battling. James Trafford comes out on top there in the Burnley goal. They looked like they were in a dangerous position. It was a beautiful pass by Kovacic. The nice skill from Foden to spin away from Vitinho. And then Foden just loses his balance at the last second. And the Burnley keeper, James Trafford, is there to mop up the mess. Bayer tried to come forward, but risk and reward gives the ball away. Alvarez trying to find Haaland, but good header by Dara O'Shea. Walker recovers for City. Gets it to Kovacic. Now Rodri. Kovacic. Foden. Rodri again. Foden. Nice ball. Finds Walker. Walker on the run. Cuts it back into the box. Alvarez has to take it. Haaland! My goodness me. That is an sensational goal from Erling Haaland again. And from absolutely nowhere, Manchester City double their lead. And when they're on form like that, and Erling Haaland's on form like that, there's just no stopping them. Absolutely first class. And he's hardly had any touches of the game, but he'll not worry. He's got 2 goals tonight. And it all starts with the patience of City. They're not rushing things. They find the space, gets it to Foden. Foden out to Walker. Walker cuts it back into the box for Alvarez, who just gets a nice first touch. Right-footed, side-footed pass to Haaland. And Haaland on the spin with a left foot. It's just sensational. Just under the crossbar and into the net. And City double their lead here at Turf Moor. And they just haven't been able... They haven't needed to pepper the goal. But when they've been in front of goal, City, they've been absolutely clinical. And they're 2-0 up here after just 36 minutes. Could it be another drubbing for Burnley against Manchester City? They don't have a good recent history against Manchester City. But they still look promising in this first half. Roberts. Amdouni trying to work his way through, but City have bodies back. But then Bernardo Silva gives it away, and Koleosho, and Lyle Foster with a strike deflected. Corner for Burnley. It's again, Amdouni tries to work it into the box. It's Bernardo Silva that recovers. He tries to work his way out. It's Koleosho that wins it back. Plays the ball across to Lyle Foster, who's in space. Takes the strike first time right-footed. Deflects off Akanji and out wide for a corner on the right-hand side for Burnley. Perfect instant response. Be the captain, Josh Cullen, to take. Lofted ball to the back post. Akanji with a header and Walker with a clearance. As O'Shea recovers the ball, but then gives it straight away to City. And now Rico Lewis leads the charge on the counter for City. Foden. Alvarez. And Vitinho, in trying to win the ball back from Alvarez, gives away a free kick. Just see this again. Alvarez holding the ball up. Vitinho tries to win it back. And in doing so, does commit the foul on Julian Alvarez. So City have a free kick then. Last 7 minutes plus additional time of this first half. Burnley 0, City 2. Erling Haaland's on a hat-trick on the opening night of the season. My goodness me. Free kick for City then. Alvarez is the one over it. Right-footed cross from Alvarez. Headed away by Bayer. Brought down by Kovacic. Then the follow-up free kick is given to Burnley as there was a foul in there. So free kick Burnley inside their own box. Well, Erling Haaland lighting it up on opening night here at Turf Moor. 2 wonderful goals, completely different quality, but both of equally great finishes. Sensational. But Burnley haven't been totally outrun here, to be honest. I think it's been quite an even game in possession. It's just when City get to those attacking areas, they're just ruthless. They're just unstoppable at times. And when Erling Haaland is in the form that he is in, he is just unstoppable. No one can do anything about that. And James Trafford in that Burnley goal couldn't do anything about either of those Haaland goals tonight, to be fair. Well, anyone that was watching earlier this evening about Moises Caicedo, of course, we've done our first ever LFS podcast live this afternoon, and it was really nice to have that. Moises Caicedo was the big topic. There's been some updates on Moises Caicedo this evening from a few sources this evening, suggesting that Chelsea are in talks with Brighton and are preparing a bid for Moises Caicedo. Liverpool are apparently thinking about walking away. Now, that's just from one source. Another source says that Liverpool are still in the race for Caicedo. It will come down to what Chelsea do. As things stand, Liverpool's still the only club to have agreed a deal with Brighton as it stands. So at the moment, Moises Caicedo is still unsure about where he's going next. Chelsea are in talks, preparing a bid for the player, but it's whether that bid will be accepted by Brighton that will decide whether or not Liverpool will get the player this evening. It's still in the balance here tonight. And let us know your thoughts on that, by the way. It's a bit of I don't want to swear on the first game of the season, but it is a bit of a shit show, to be fair. It is, let's be honest. But that's a transfer saga for you. There's always an interesting transfer saga. Andrew Nathaniel Smith in the chat, welcome in. It says 3-1. Obviously predicting a City 3-1 win, I'm guessing, because it's written in that order. Well, it is 2-0 to City at the moment. Both goals coming from Erling Haaland. We will see. Well, we'll see what Burnley can do this season. You know, although they haven't had the best start to the season tonight, they, I think, will still cause a threat. And I put them in my Premier League predictions. If you've watched that show on the channel, that's up at the moment as well, if you want to watch that. I've put Burnley in 13th. I think Burnley will be good this season. And I don't think they've been particularly awful against City tonight in any shape. But when City get into that final third, into that box, they haven't had to do it many times tonight. But when they have, they've looked so threatening. But in possession, Burnley's press has looked really good. Really, really good pressing from Burnley tonight. And quite impressive. But the game's still not over. It's only 2-0. You never know. Anything can happen. Kyle Walker. All the way back to Edison. Into the last 2 minutes of the first 45 of the new Premier League season. Of course, we'll see how much additional time will be added on to the end of this half. Of course, as we know, the referee's cracking down on time wasting this season and cracking down on ball out of play time. Of course, The ball has been in play at an average 55 minutes in the Premier League over the last few seasons. That's the average. And they want to try and get that closer to 60 or even higher than that. And that's why they're going to be adding more time. So we'll see what the first set of additional time will be in about a moment's time of the season. Dara O'Shea with that defensive header. Wasn't the most convincing of defensive headers, as Phil Foden keeps the ball in on the right-hand side. Kovacic. Rodri. Nathan Ake. Cross to his centre-back partner, Manuel Akanji. Foden out to Walker. Back in field to Akanji again. Through the middle for Alvarez. Back to Akanji. Cross to Rodri. Rodri here. Manuel Akanji. To Walker. City just being more and more patient. Not rushing their moves. They know what they need to do, and they'll take their time in doing so. Rodri. Akanji. Last few seconds of the first 45. And we will have 5 additional minutes. There you go. 5 additional minutes. Of course, we've seen a few stoppages in this first half. And that is why we will see the first set of additional time in this first Premier League game of the season. 5 additional minutes. Bernardo Silva. Well, of course, there's been mixed opinions on the added time. That's a nice ball over the top for Foden. Foden still has the ball here. Foden to finish it. The flag went up, though. There was a bit of confusion there. Foden received the ball over the top. Seemed like a really good ball. It's very close again. Another tight one there. Foden takes a nice first touch. Really good challenge in the end by Burnley. And the goalkeeper recovers the ball, but Phil Foden was in an offside position when he collected the ball. So, free kick Burnley anyway. Andrew says, mate, you should take your CV and get a commentator job. You're doing well here. Thank you very much indeed, Andrew. Love that. Actually, of course, if you've seen the community post earlier in the week, the reason there's no Premier League football tomorrow on the channel, of course there is Premier League football tomorrow, but there's none here on the channel. We will update you on all the scores tomorrow at the end of tomorrow evening. But I do have an opportunity tomorrow working for the BBC doing a game in the Irish Premiership. So I'll be looking forward to that one. That's all thanks to everybody on here on the channel. You know, without the support of you guys and the support that we've received here, you know, I wouldn't have got that opportunity. So, although nothing changes from me, from my point of view here, I'm staying here. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. Don't worry about that shit. This is my priority at the moment. But opportunities, you have to take them when they come. Pressure on Burnley here at the back. That was great from Dara O'Shea. Oh, that was good. The nutmeg on the... I think that was Bernardo Silva, or was it Phil Foden? One of the two to get his team out of trouble there, Dara O'Shea. That was really good from the Irish defender. Of course, I always have to back my own. Now, Mind Blow says, congratulations. Thank you very much indeed. Andrew, that's good. I believe you will go high. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Love the support. 2 minutes to go then of the first half here at Turf Moor. Burnley 0, Manchester City 2. Pressure again on the City defence. And Rodri, they want a foul here, Burnley. While Foster's making the claim, his manager Vincent Kompany is also making a claim. Again, the press from Burnley has been so impressive. I mean, pardon the pun, but it has been so perfectly worked this half. For a new side coming into the Premier League, they haven't wilted. 2-0 down, the first game of the season, in the first half, you would think they would take a look at themselves, but they shouldn't. They've played really well. It's just City are just ruthless. I mean, the only thing Burnley really could have done is had about 2 or 3 goalkeepers in the net tonight, because they haven't been majorly exposed. They haven't looked poor on the ball. They've looked quite competitive against City and in the middle of the park, put some good pressure on the City defence. I think Burnley have put in a decent performance in this first half. It's just the fact that the difference is Man City have Erling Haaland, who's sensationally deadly in front of goal, and Burnley just are unfortunate to come up against one of the most frightening centre forwards in world football at the moment. That's basically what's differentiated these two teams. I think it would be 0-0 at half-time if there was no Erling Haaland, and that seems a bit silly to say, because he scored the 2 goals. But I think everywhere else on the pitch, Burnley have matched City to a T so far. But when Erling Haaland's on the pitch, you have to put about 7 men beside him to even try and stop him. Never mind stopping him in the first place. And Craig Pawson calls to an end the very first 45 minutes of the Premier League season. Very first, which has seen Erling Haaland get a brace on the opening night of the season. We thought last season he was unstoppable. Well, he's already got the brand new season underway, and we're thinking he's a robot once again. Half-time at Turf Moor in the opening game of the Premier League season. Burnley 0, Manchester City 2. Back with the second half in a couple of minutes.
Measly total of 52. It took him just over 3 minutes to get going. De Bruyne cross, headed down by Rodri at the back post and stroked into the bottom corner by Haaland for 1-0. His second, though, was absolutely superb. About 14 yards out, just to the right of centre. Alvarez with the layoff, and Haaland played it into the far top corner, in off the underside of the bar. Absolutely brilliant. City did lose captain Kevin De Bruyne to injury midway through the half. We're waiting to find out the extent of that problem. As for Burnley, they've gone close a few times. Foster and Amdouni with chances, but City have been dominant. At half-time, Paul Robinson, Burnley 0, Manchester City 2.
And City have been excellent, haven't they? I mean, we run out of superlatives for Erling Haaland. the man is just a goal-scoring machine. 2 chances, 2 goals. Every time he gets in the box, he looks dangerous. City have looked good. Burnley have had their chances, but City have looked at the weakest when they've been lackadaisical with passes. They've given the ball away. They've given Burnley opportunities rather than Burnley creating chances. Koleosho for Burnley. Amdouni pressing high up. Lyle Foster in the middle. They're trying to make things work. But City, with Rico Lewis playing in that hybrid position, we wondered how they would line up tonight, but it's Rico Lewis, when in possession, that he drops into that hybrid midfield place. Kovacic has come on. Foden, Alvarez, they seem to make runs when Ederson's got the ball. We're seeing Ederson halfway in his own half, looking to distribute like a quarterback. It's the same old City from last year. They've picked up exactly from where they left off. And Haaland, he just looks like a machine, he really does.
Burnley 0, Haaland and City 2.
A really good first half then for Manchester City as they begin the defence of the Premier League title, bidding to become the first team to win 4 Premier League titles in a row. They'll also try and defend the FA Cup and the Champions League and win as many trophies as they possibly can. Just to remind you, you can hear Luton's first game back in the Premier League here on 5 Live tomorrow. It's the 3 o'clock commentary, the first one of the brand new Premier League season. They're playing Brighton, and you can listen to the game in the company of Ian Dennis and Steve Sidwell. So for Luton, the dream is to stay in the Premier League. Nottingham Forest will be hoping they won't fall to second season syndrome. We've had Noel Gallagher talking about Manchester City tonight, so who else better to talk about Forest than the recently retired England cricketer Stuart Broad? He told me he couldn't be happier that Forest are still in the Premier League.
I feel like I got a bit giddy at the start of last season. I feel like I mentioned a position of like 11th to you at one stage. But yeah, I must admit, when we beat Arsenal at home to secure the Premier League status, it was just like a wonderful day and a wonderful sort of celebration for the city. And ultimately, with everything that went on, there were certain times in the season that, we'd be on WhatsApp worrying a little bit, wouldn't we? That especially like losing at Leicester 4-0 and stuff. So there were some times that it looked a little bit ropey, but ultimately we got the job done with some massive results towards the end of the season.
There's a fair few things to keep an eye on. I mean, the manager is still there, despite the interview the owner gave at the back end of last season. There's a bit of speculation that Brennan Johnson might not be due to financial fair play situations by the time the transfer window closes. And I think as well, there's a lot of excitement about what we might see from players like Morgan Gibbs-White in the second season in the Premier League. So there are lots of storylines around the club, but it has been such a different summer. 30 signings in last season. It's been ominously quiet on the transfer front so far, but there's a lot going on in there before a ball's even been kicked.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I'm probably not the biggest fan of the transfer window overlapping the season. I would probably prefer as a fan that you get all your business done before the first game, so you know where you're sat. Probably got my fantasy football head on a little bit there, but it'd be really sad to see Brennan Johnson leave because he's been a great joy for us to watch over the last few seasons. But ultimately, football is a business, and he's an academy prospect that they can make decent money on. But I think probably Morgan Gibbs-White's the best player I've seen play at the City ground with my own eyes. He's a future England international. There's no doubt in that. And actually, what brings me always makes me smile is the sort of outcry at the rage at the fee. Do you remember how much Forest paid for him and how outrageous it was that we'd pay that sort of money? And now, virtually every single person is like, "Cool, that was Gibbs-White. You got a deal on him, didn't you? That was great value." There's certainly a player there who you could see playing in a top flight, top European team.
Yeah, I think if they sold him now, they'd probably double their money based on the outrage of what they paid last season. Have you done your fantasy team then? Have you done it? Is it all finished?
It's all finished. It changed 5 times today.
Yeah, I changed mine today too, a lot.
But I've settled. I've actually gone a little bit quiet on the Forest players this year because of the tough away start. But I have got Turner as on my bench. But I think my loyalty to Forest will come in after game week sort of 7 and 8 when we've got a couple of the old Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, all those away. Arsenal away, get them out of the way, and then strike with the Forest boys.
I would think the WhatsApp group's going to be quite lively this season because you've got Jimmy Anderson and Burnley, you've got Joe Root and Sheffield United, you and Forest, and of course they're the 2 home fixtures to start the season for Forest, Sheffield United at home and then Burnley at home. And no matter what we think, I think the 3 teams are going to be relatively close as the season goes on, so I would suspect the banter's going to be flowing.
And you miss Sir Alistair Cook as a Luton fan.
Oh, of course, of course.
Who had who had the biggest delight coming up to the Premier League, and he's probably the one who talks about football the most out of everyone. To be honest, his season tickets there are behind a big pillar, so he can only see one half of the ground. But no, he's looking forward to coming to the City Ground when we play Luton at home.
And I can't let you go without asking you about that final England appearance. I mean, it's crackers to think that you played as long as you did and you achieved what you did. And for a lot of sportsmen, that would be everything. But not you. You get to hit a 6 with your last shot with a bat and take a wicket with what would have been, regardless of the outcome, your last ball in Test cricket. I mean, can't ever have happened before.
Just a fairy tale. And honestly, I think ultimately for me, it was a really difficult decision to leave something that I love. It was, playing the game of cricket is something that I adore. And I think it's always very difficult to leave. But I knew I wanted to leave it still being able to do it and still being able to, compete at the top level. And ultimately for me, England versus Australia is the absolute pinnacle. What a great way to bow out bowling your last ball against Australia. So that's how I sort of came to the decision. But then for the game to look after me with hitting my last ball for 6 and then take a wicket, which ultimately the best wicket you can ever take is a wicket to win a game. It's the greatest feeling. And to take a wicket to win an Ashes Test match on my final ever professional delivery is just, I wouldn't say a dream come true, because you'd never even think about that. You'd never even think that's possible. It's just an absolute fairy tale finish. And, I've had no regrets for making that decision as of yet. There will be a time when England board are playing for the next trip and there's a training camp going on and all the guys are together. I will definitely get that sort of feeling that I'm sure all ex-sports people get of like, oh, I would love to be there. I wish I could just go and have a bowl and a bat. But I will never better that finish. I could never better that finish in any way, shape or form. So I just have to look back with great memories and know that I finished on my own terms with a smile on my face.
That's Stuart Broad, Nottingham Forest fan and newly retired. What a fairy tale end it was to a magnificent Test career. Wes, your old club, I mean, how optimistic are you that they can push on this season? There's not been a great deal of transfer activity. There are one or two rumours swirling around Brennan Johnson. Do you think that they're going to stay up this season? Do you think they can progress this season? What do you think when you look at what they have?
Yeah, I do think they can stay up. I looked at teams that could possibly go down this season, and that's not one of the teams. They're not one of the teams, and I think they'll grow from the experience of last season. It wasn't easy, and there was a time where, a lot of people did think they were heading down. I think their strength is the home crowd and the atmosphere, the home crowd producers. I've been to a few of the games last season, and it's incredible atmosphere. Go in there, you can see how the energy transfers to the players on the pitch, and it's an unbelievable atmosphere. So I think the experience of last season will grow, and the key players that Broad mentioned there, Gibbs, White, and Brennan Johnson, they're going to be invaluable for Forest this season, and if they can be, at their top form and keep hold of them more than first and foremost, that's going to be key for Forest.
Wes, it hurts me when you say they. You said we for so long, but now you say they. I mean, it hurts, Wes.
It hurts me too, but I have to have that separation.
So this is the Friday Football Social. Wes Morgan, Nigel Rio-Coker, Don Hodgson are going to be with us until 10 o'clock. It's
Get a little bit of trouble, K-N-I-F-E, right in your
Hello, welcome back to the live LFS coverage of Burnley against Manchester City in the opening night of the new Premier League season. And we've a few graphics changes. I hope you've noticed. Maybe you've noticed. If you like them, let us know. Great to see some new graphics. And here are the fixtures for the weekend. Burnley 2-0 down against Manchester City at half time. Tomorrow, there are 6 games in the Premier League. Arsenal take on Nottingham Forest. West Ham travel to Bournemouth. Brighton host newcomers Luton. Everton face Fulham. Sheffield United face Crystal Palace. And Newcastle host Aston Villa. What a cracker that is. And then Sunday, 2 games for you. Brentford, Tottenham, Chelsea, Liverpool. And the Monday Night Football, Man United against Wolves. To finish off match day 1. Let's have a look at the table. I mean, is it too early to look at the table? Yes, it is. But let's just have a look at how the table looks anyway. The only position that's changed is Man City top the table. They'll probably end up in that position on match day, at the end of match day 38. But you never know. Manchester City top the table as they have on so many occasions previously. The second half at Turf Moor is on the way in just a second. Welcome back then. The players just readying for the second half. Gives me time to tell you, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications. We just hit 19,000 subscribers this week. We're on the road to 20k. If you can get us there, that will be fantastic. If you haven't done so already, hit that big red button to help us out. Greatly appreciated. I would like to thank everybody for 19,000, by the way. I haven't got the chance to do that yet, but thank you very much indeed for the 19,000. As you can see in the top right corner of your screen, the live subs count. Well, live. It's as live as we can get it for what the services provide. It's difficult for YouTube these days. As the City players just come back out onto the Turf Moor pitch, we do have some more information for you about that Moises Caicedo drama. The whole saga today, of course, it's been rumbling on for the last 24 hours or so, but Chelsea are actively working on a deal to sign Brighton midfielder Moises Caicedo in the next few hours, with a fee reported to be a record £115 million, which would only be £4 million than what Liverpool's bid last night was, which has been accepted by Brighton. We will see what happens there. Let's hope it happens while we're on air tonight. Any drama on that front? Let's see. We will see. As we're ready to go here, and we are underway for the second half at Turf Moor as the champions get us back kicking for the second 45. What can Burnley offer up in this second half? Can they try and mount a comeback against Manchester City? Or will City just better their lead and have a comfortable night here in the north of England? Foden. Rodri. Phil Foden giving away possession. Nice work by Foster, and now Amdouni gets it wide to Koleosho, and Koleosho up against Ake. Koleosho flicks it around the corner just ahead of Lyle Foster. Better again from Burnley on that counter. That front three looking very in sync, but just that final pass just not working at the moment for Burnley. Pressure again on the City defence. Kovacic, comes out of it just about. Gets it to Walker. Now Foden. Foden trying to force a counter. But the ball forward to Alvarez is a bit wayward. And that will just fall into the hands of James Trafford. Cullen. Bayer. And back from Sander Berge to Trafford. The long ball forward out wide to Roberts. That's better from Burnley. Building from the back. Amdouni. Brings it forward for Koleosho. And Koleosho sees the ball out there. Does Nathan Ake. Burnley throw in. Burnley take that throw in. Lovely feet again, but just got away from Amdouni there. Rodri. Pressure put on Foden, and he gives the ball away. Really good challenge again from Burnley. It's Connor Roberts that time that made the challenge. That's better. Sander Berge. Now to Aldakil. Sander Berge. Foster back to Aldakil. He's taken up a slightly different role, it looks like. Aldakil a bit further up the pitch there. Momentarily that was. Sander Berge trying to thread one through the middle. It was a bit optimistic that. And Edison with a simple enough clearance. First header again by Burnley. And the second header is given straight back to Man City as Kyle Walker picks up the ball here. Rodri. Back to Akanji. Rodri. Nathan Ake has a bit of space here. Lewis making the run ahead of him, but a bit of a short pass as Koleosho picks it up. And Berge. Now Foster. Burnley trying to go on the counter. Lyle Foster. And that ball again from Burnley. They try and get the counter attack, but every time they try and feed the ball forward into a nice area, either City recover it or Burnley just can't make the pass accurate enough for their forwards at the moment. And again, it's that final pass that they're just missing out on, but something they'll need to improve on this second half. Here is Edison then. Long ball forward by Edison. Haaland battling with O'Shea, and O'Shea does really well defensively there to hold off Erling Haaland. Aldakil. Now O'Shea. Aldakil again. Switch ball out to Roberts. Amdouni. Cullen. Nice Sander Berge. Aldakil. Better possession from Burnley. Ball forward. Lovely ball. Nice touch by Foster. He's got two men to beat. Lyle Foster cuts it back. Oh, and Amdouni was there to try and pick it up, but City do get away. And now Bernardo Silva tries to force Haaland on the counter, but that's really good interception by Jordan Bayer. That's much better from Burnley. That final ball, that pass through to Lyle Foster actually works for Burnley, and they force City into an area where they look exposed, but they ultimately got away with one. Burnley look re-energized in the second half, ready to go again. Trafford. Bayer. Back to James Trafford. 5 minutes of the second half gone. And a positive start for the home team. Find themselves 2-0 down at the break. Sander Berge under a bit of pressure there, but his captain's there to help him. Bayer. Back to Trafford. Trafford with the measured ball out wide, but Nathan Ake picks that one up. And the referee will play on as City have possession. Rodri gets it to Rico Lewis. And back to Nathan Ake. A lot of votes over half-time about the match result. 75% saying a City win, 17% Burnley, 8% a draw. So City still have the vast majority of the votes. Gunner49, welcome to the chat. How are you? And Stephen, by the way, in the chat. So you're called Live Football Streams. Where do I find those? Please, well, I mean, you can do that whatever you want. You can go and find illegal streams. I'm not going to provide that. It's not up to me. We clearly outline what we are on this channel. This mustn't be the place for you then if you're looking for something different. Here's Koleosho. Ah, it's a nice first touch, and Tried to make the infield pass, but City intercepted it nicely. And here's Erling Haaland on the end of it. And I think that might have been a deflection off Dara O'Shea there. I think he just got a touch on it. It was a nice recovery. It was Haaland that picked it up. Rodri gets it to Rodri, and then Alvarez feeds it through. Haaland runs off the back of Dara O'Shea, but O'Shea does get the recovery and puts it out for a corner. Again, he's so threatening, Erling Haaland. Corner whipped in, really high on that one. Ake with the first header, falls to Lewis. City have the ball to recover. Here's Bernardo Silva, lifts it into the box. Header by Bayer, overhead kick, and by Phil Foden, but it's gone behind, and that'll be a corner. There was a deflection off a Burnley player there. So corner to Manchester City on the left-hand side. In La Liga, Sevilla against Valencia is the other game going ahead tonight. It's 0-0, kicked off at 9 o'clock. Corner whipped in, headed away first time by Burnley. As Rodri tries to recover, Walker with the ball forward. Headed nicely away by Aldaquil. Picked up again by Alvarez. Lewis. Rodri. Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva, left-footed cross in. Headed away again by Burnley and Dara O'Shea this time. Walker. Lewis. City trying to up the tempo maybe a bit more so far. But Burnley able to match it and deal with it so far in this second half. Well, Burnley have just scored 1 goal against Manchester City in the last 13 games against them. City, on the other hand, have scored a measly 42 goals in 13 games against Burnley. It's one of incredible feat. A few 5 and 6s in there as well. The last time they played each other was a 6-0 drubbing for Burnley against Manchester City last season in the FA Cup. As Rodri from distance. A direct one. And Trafford sees it over the bar. As I was saying, I'll just see this replay again first. Rodri with a strike. And just palmed over the bar by James Trafford, taking no risks. The last 4 times that these two have met, all Manchester City goals. 11 goals for City in the last 4 fixtures against Burnley. With the last 2 games here at Turf Moor, ending in 2-0 wins for Manchester City. Alvarez with a corner. Right-footed. Whipped in, headed on by Rodri, but got there was James Trafford to deny Rodri his first goal of the season. It was a nice corner. He run across the box for the header, Rodri, but the pace just faded off the ball and it was easy enough for James Trafford to recover. Cullen, heavy touch. Almost let in Bernardo Silva there. As O'Shea gets it out to the right for Roberts. Back infield to Cullen. Sander Berge. Cullen. Nice football again from Burnley. Bayer. Run made from the back. There was Aldaquil, who was battling with Kyle Walker, but Walker just seen him out and seen the ball out of play for a City goal kick. Burnley are obviously trying things. We're seeing that this evening. They're trying different ideas. They're trying to build things and put City under a bit of pressure, asking them a few questions in this second half that they tried to do in the first half but didn't execute as well as they have in the second half so far. And still, City who have a 2-goal lead, both Erling Haaland goals. Didn't take them long to get on the score sheet. Just over 3 minutes, actually. City recover the ball there from a poor Burnley pass. It's all the way back to Edison, though. That was a nervy ball by Edison, but he got it to Nathan Ake. One that would have given City fans a few nerves, but he looked cool and calm at it. making that pass. Here's Kyle Walker. Manuel Akanji. All the way back to Edison. Akanji. Alvarez coming deep, gets it to Rodri. Akanji feeds it forward for Foden. Has to take a deep touch and has to go back to Bernardo Silva. Akanji again. Rodri. Alvarez. Foden. Alvarez. Nice quick football by City. Alvarez. Lewis. Rodri. Kovacic. Bernardo Silva in the midfield here. Mateo Kovacic. Of course, Mateo Kovacic, one of the new players in the City squad this season. Joined the club for a £25 million fee from Chelsea on the 1st of July this summer. So made that move from London up to Manchester. Bernardo Silva. Walker. Silva. Rodri. Well, the home crowd trying their best to get their team up. Of course, Burnley haven't let themselves out of the game, but they get a goal, you never know what can happen. It is opening night after all. Edison. Walker. Manuel Akanji. Bernardo Silva. Kovacic to Akanji. Edison. Burnley still have that press on. They're waiting for Edison to make a pass and then we'll apply the press. We're seeing that a couple of times this evening. That was nice from Foden. Gets it to Haaland in a dangerous position. Here's Julian Alvarez with a strike, but that's not the best of finishes from Julian Alvarez. Well wide of the post. Hits the advertising hoardings behind the goal. It was a lovely pass by Edison. Beautiful first touch on the spin by Foden, who knew Haaland was waiting for it. Haaland picks it up, finds a bit of space. Alvarez just runs across him, feeds it wide to the right for Alvarez, and Alvarez's finishes leaves a lot to be desired, but it was a good move initially for City. As Burnley make a double change here, Bruyne, Larson and Zaruri replace Koleosho and Amdouni, so attacking changes for the home team, showing intentions that they haven't given up yet. In the last 30 minutes, they need to prove on the score sheet that they haven't given up and try and get back into this game against City. It's a long ball forward, causes a bit of confusion, but Edison's there to deal with that one for Manchester City. And Burnley have a good record of goals by substitutes. The second most in the top 4 divisions last season. Only Plymouth had more goals by substitutes in the top 4 divisions of English football. So it'll be a double change there from Burnley to see what Vincent Kompany can get from a few other players. Vitinho there battling, gets the throw in. Alderkiel will take the throw in. Back to Bayer. Now to Trafford. Trafford looking for the long diagonal out to the right. Bruyne Larson with the chest, but it's not the best of touches, and Rico Lewis will work that back to his goalkeeper. So, of course, Jakob Bruyne Larsen occupying that right wing at the moment. It looks like Rodri might have taken up that centre-forward role at the moment. We'll wait to see. Here's Vitinho on the left-hand side, and a bit too much there from Rodri, committing the foul on Vitinho, and Burnley will have a free kick. Burnley take the free kick. Get it to Zurori. Now to Cullen. Cullen. Nice ball to Bruyne Larsen. Bruyne Larsen just on the pitch and wins Burnley a corner, which exudes the crowd into applause here at Turf Moor. Positive from the substitute. It's nice initially from the Burnley captain Cullen. Beautifully weighted pass in behind the defence, and Bruyne Larsen was quick onto it and got the deflection off Mateo Kovacic to get the corner for Burnley. On the right-hand side for them. Set piece for Burnley. It's a low one. Flicked on by Roberts. Man City just about get it cleared. There was a bit of a scramble in there, but they did get it cleared as Trafford is almost on the halfway line here for Burnley. Bruyne Larsen with the first header. Haaland with a clearance. Nice header by Dara O'Shea as Burnley take it down with Josh Cullen. Not the best of passes from Cullen. Pressure on Lewis, but gets it to Ake. Now back to Rico Lewis, who goes back to his goalkeeper, Edison, who has a heavy touch there, Edison. Luckily, City do recover the ball, but only momentarily. A bit panicky there. Alderkiel. Vitinho. Another few instances where Burnley are causing City a few nervy moments. The pressure of that Burnley defence, or the Burnley players, the press, has caused City a few issues, but on all occasions they've been able to recover Pep Guardiola's team so far from those almost treacherous defensive moments. But Burnley have nothing to show for that press as of yet in terms of the scoreline. As Rico Lewis tries an optimistic ball forward, and Trafford out for the header and heads it out for a City throw. Another keeper not afraid to come out of his 18-yard box. It's really good from James Trafford. Of course, joined Burnley from Manchester City. Well, was in the Manchester City youth team. Was on loan at Accrington and Bolton, and then made the £14.9 million move to Burnley this summer. James Trafford. Vincent Kompany not happy with a few decisions. Just having a chat with the fourth official, Graham Scott, on the sidelines. Walker back to Akanji. Nice pressure again from Burnley. Getting bodies up the pitch to try and cause City a few problems. And Dara O'Shea to win the ball back for Burnley. Cause of handball there on Kyle Walker, but the referee says play on. Chested down by Bayer. Nice touch to find Sander Berge. Berge with a crossfield ball, but into the box for Edison to catch. Kovacic. Taken out there by Bruyne Larsen. That'll be a free kick to Manchester City. City in calm possession again. Just keeping an eye on any further developments from that Moises Caicedo story. We do have a development from Harry Kane. We'll tell you about that in a moment. Here's Rodri breaking forward. Rodri for City, blocked by Vitinho, out for a City throw on the right-hand side. Harry Kane has arrived to do the second part of his medical for Bayern Munich. He's arrived at the Bayern training ground this evening in the last few moments to complete his medical ahead of a move worth £100 million for the England centre forward. That's a deflection off Jordan Bayer there, and that will be a corner to City. Still 0-0 in the game between Sevilla and Valencia in La Liga. Of course, they get underway this evening. Of course, the earlier game, Rayo Vallecano won 2-0 away at Almeria, but still 0-0 between Sevilla and Valencia. So corner for City on the right-hand side. Oh, they'll have to take that again because there was a man down in the box, Nathan Ake. Just a bit of pushing and shoving, as we always get at corners. So referee will give City the chance to take it again. So corner City, right-hand side. Alvarez, right-footed. A lot of height in it, back post. Good defending there by Lyle Foster. But Rico Lewis picks it up. Kovacic. Ake with a cross. Alvarez on the right-hand side for City. Left-footed cross into the box. Haaland was beaten and taken away and cleared away by Burnley that time. Once again, 22 minutes to go. Plus additional time. Burnley 0, Man City 2. There's a bit of booing around the stadium. I'm unsure as to what that's about at this current moment in time. Maybe an offside or something like that. I have no idea. Nonetheless, we play on. Header away by Bayer. Nice takedown by Alvarez. Haaland to Walker. Kyle Walker. To Akanji. Now Bernardo Silva. Kovacic. Ake. City have made just the one substitute so far, that enforced substitute of Kevin De Bruyne in the first half, that injury substitute. So they've 2 occasions to make 4 more substitutions. Burnley have 2 more occasions to make 3 more substitutions in the game, which I'm sure we will see towards the end of the game. That's really good recovery work again from Burnley as Aldakiel wins it back. It's nice pickup. Zaruri. Roberts. To Sander Berge. And back with O'Shea to Trafford. Dara O'Shea. Connor Roberts. Trafford. Last 20 minutes at Turf Moor. Plus any additional time, that is, of course. O'Shea. And the ball just out of play there from Connor Roberts. So that will be a City throw. Rico Lewis takes the throw in. To Ake. Kovacic. Now to Akanji on the halfway line. Nathan Ake. Rodri. Kovacic. Walker to Ake. Quick possession again from City. It's the ball over the top for Foden. He's got Haaland alongside him. Foden across, and too much power to find Haaland. Goes behind for a goal kick. Foden and Haaland almost linking up there. It's a nice ball over the top. Phil Foden just commits a defender, and Erling Haaland is free. Just gets the cross. Too much pace on it from Phil Foden, and just a bit ahead of Erling Haaland, and goes behind for a goal kick. But more promising moves from City as we see our first bit of cramp here tonight. indication from Jordan Bayer that he wants to come off. That could be an interesting one. And Burnley are going to make another few substitutions. I think it might be a double substitution. Of course, remember, any time that the game is stopped, the referee will add that time on to the end of the game. So the longer there is a delay, the longer the additional time at the end of the 90 minutes. He's back up on his feet. Totally fine. They will make a change in a moment here, Burnley. Graham Scott, the fourth official, just readying the board to confirm that. And the confirmation is that there will be a substitution. And there's a bit of confusion because who is number 36? Burnley don't have a number 36. There's just been a miscommunication there. The fourth official, Graham Scott, has just put up 36 going off, but there's no 36 for Burnley. Burnley don't have a 36 on the pitch. It's number 5 if they're looking for Jordan Bayer. Nonetheless, the substitution is made after that bit of confusion. And there we go. Number 5, Jordan Bayer is replaced by number 10, Manuel Benson. So another attacking change for Burnley. Might kind of transition into a back 4 then and commit an extra player. That'll be interesting to see. The attacking threat from Burnley then. It's James Trafford's kick there is straight out of play for City to get the throw. All the way back with Akanji. Edison. Edison with the ball over the top. Erling Haaland with the touch. And take it out there. Erling Haaland by Alderkiel in centre back there. Having none of it was Alderkiel there. Made sure that he was getting that challenge in on Haaland. Well, we've just seen that Pep Guardiola's received a yellow card. I have no idea what that's for, but there you go. Maybe he's just spoken out of turn against the referee or the fourth official or something, but there you go. Pep Guardiola's in the book. No players have been booked tonight so far. City get this free kick, left-footed cross delivery in. Still not cleared away, and it's finished by Rodri. It's a loose ball. The delivery wasn't cleared the first time by Burnley, and City, it falls to Rodri, and City get their third of the night. It just looks so simple for Manchester City. The set pieces are something that Vincent Kompany's going to have to work on, because it's twice now that they've conceded from set pieces. It's a free kick that's delivered in. They try and get it away first time, Burnley. I can't see who that is. It's Alderkiel with a header. It just doesn't get it away. It's just a deft header right into the box, into the danger zone. The loose ball away from Ake, and it falls to Rodri, who gets height behind it and fires it into the net for 3-0. It's a really good delivery, threatening. Burnley don't clear their lines initially, and they end up paying the price. Burnley 0, Manchester City 3. Well, there you go. You can't defend like that, especially against the champions. You're going to be beaten, and you're going to be tested on multiple occasions from those positions. And when you don't defend them correctly, you will be punished. And Burnley have been punished twice from set pieces in this game. Vincent Kompany will be very disappointed with that. It's the ball down the line. One for Manuel Benson to chase. Ake's there with him, and Benson does keep it in, but will get the throw in. That's good for Manuel Benson. Andrew says one more goal in the bag. Yes, indeed. 3-0 it is to City. And well, it's not a coincidence, this. City have just scored their third, and they're ready to make a triple change. They're ready to change a few players, make a few changes, so that will be coming in a moment. As this Burnley, they will go for a long throw, it seems. They will, into the box. O'Shea trying to get the first header, but Foden there to clear it away for City. And that will be recovered by Trafford at the back. In the goal there for Burnley. And his ball forward, headed away by Manuel Akanji for a Burnley throw. Well, I think we can conclude the poll at this moment in time. I don't see a Burnley comeback at this point. Man City win. 75% of the chat predicted a Manchester City win. Manuel Benson. Roberts. Heavy touch by Roberts. Just did enough to get it back to Dara O'Shea. And now here's Alderweireld. Vitinho. Infield. Nice touch by Foster. And given away. Poor heavy touch as Erling Haaland's billowing in. Haaland feeds it to Alvarez. Alvarez takes his time. Alvarez blocked. Really good there from Dara O'Shea. Put his body on the line when it looked like Alvarez was as cool as anything and ready to finish it to make it 4. But Dara O'Shea there doing defensive work and getting it away for Burnley, and they have a free kick as well. Andrews, his first game, and Burnley getting beaten. Score 1. Burnley for it not to look too bad. Well, it is only the first game, and I wouldn't say it's panic stations for Burnley or Vincent Kompany as of yet. Still the first game. Well, here come the first of the City substitutes. A triple sub. Their new signing, Josko Vardiol, who they've signed from RB Leipzig for around £77 million, is on. Aymeric Laporte is also on the pitch. And there will be a third substitution here, which will be, I think it's Cole Palmer. I'll confirm that in a second. So, Rico Lewis has been replaced by Josko Vardiol. Cole Palmer is on. He has replaced Erling Haaland, and Aymeric Laporte has replaced Nathan Ake. So 2 defensive changes for City and a change up front as well. Lyle Foster. Nice control of the ball. Gets it to Zeruri. And Roberts back across to Alderweireld for Burnley. Will they get a consolation? Or will City keep an opening night clean sheet? Here's Brun Larsen. Brun Larsen, nice pace. Right across. Lyle Foster, lovely touch. Nice feed by Zeruri. Blocked was his shot. That was another one from Dara O'Shea. Put his body on the line. Kept the possession for his team. Here's Manuel Benson, who lit up the championship last season. Benson still going. Benson with a cross. Blocked. Corner. Josko Vardiol did his first bit of defending there for City. And City have a corner to defend. Taken quickly from that right-hand side. Benson. Up against Kovacic. Benson. Roberts. Through the middle goes Zeruri. Back to Benson. On that right-hand side. Taking on Kovacic. Benson at the byline. And the last touch of a City player, it looked like. Kovacic. So corner given to Burnley. Last 10 minutes of the game. Burnley 0, City 3. Here at Turf Moor. Another corner that will be a delivery into the box this time from Burnley. The corner's whipped in, headed on by Brun Larsen, and a lot of height in it. And well over the bar for a goal kick. Don't forget, more Premier League football coming your way this weekend as we head to the Brentford Community Stadium, the G-Tech, where they will face Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham, who will come to town in a London derby to kick off our first Sunday of the season, with Chelsea against Liverpool following that one at 4:30 on Sunday. And we will have our first post-match reaction of the season on Sunday following the Chelsea-Liverpool game. We're looking forward to doing that on Sunday. Look forward to watching it, of course, I'm sure. Trafford. Roberts. O'Shea with the clearance. Vardiol to break it up. And Kovacic does well to get it back to Akanji. Laporte. Kovacic. Palmer. Burnley there to take it away from Palmer, but Kovacic there to pick it back up. But the foul committed against the Burnley player, so that will be a Burnley free kick. Trafford for the long diagonal. It's brought down by Zarori. Then the switch ball from Burnley. Brune Larsen free on the left, up against Walker. Brune Larsen feeds it nicely to Sander Berge, and Berge wins a corner. Better from Burnley. I mean, a little too late, but better indeed. Corner on the left-hand side for the hosts, of which their substitute, Anas Zaruri, will take. So Zaruri with a right-footed corner, whipped in, headed away by Laporte, but there was a free kick there, and I think it was a foul on Edison. So free kick, Man City. A lot of free kicks in the last 5-10 minutes. Game getting maybe a bit scrappy for the first game of the season. That's to be expected. Both sides not up to full sharpness at the moment. Well, City don't look like they're anything below full sharpness. They've been simply sensational tonight. The first two goals have been very, very good. And the third goal, bit of lax defending. Here's Foden. Foden in on goal here. Phil Foden across to Palmer. Palmer. Alvarez. Cole Palmer. As City just retreat a bit as Burnley get bodies back. Of course, more Premier League commentaries to come over the weekend. I'll be very busy with those over this weekend and over the season. I'll be looking forward to having the interaction with the chat and the involvement of the chat as well over the season. So don't be afraid to get involved. That's what we're here for. A bit of communication, a bit of enjoyment of the football together. And we're going to carry that out throughout the season. Of course, we want to get you more involved in the chat. And that's why we're launching a few new things this season. We'll let you know about those in the coming weeks as we build them up and get ready for them. Here's Foden. Walker back to Akanji. Last 5 minutes of the 90 here at Turf Moor on the opening night of the Premier League season, where the champions have shown their accreditation with ease against Vincent Kompany's Clarets tonight. Akanji. Bit of a wayward pass to Foden, but it does fall to Foden after Vitinho couldn't recover it. Now Foden feeds through Alvarez. Alvarez with the strike and a save by Trafford. Really good save by James Trafford. And we just have a bit of a stoppage here because there was a supporter trying to get onto the pitch, and just seeing pictures of that being wrestled to the ground by the stewards. One of those intruders, shall we call them? Well, I wouldn't say Vincent Kompany would be angry at his players or disappointed in his players tonight. I think he'll certainly see a lot of improvements needed for Burnley, but shown some bright sparks tonight. Things that he will see positives that they can grasp onto and hold on to for the season and take into the next coming weeks. Their next game in the Premier League, by the way, is not till the 27th of August, that is. They were meant to play Luton next week, next Saturday, but of course with Luton having a few troubles with their home stadium, that game against Burnley has been postponed to a later date, And Burnley's next game will be at home, back here at Turf Moor, on the 27th of August at 2 o'clock against Aston Villa. Not the easiest of starts for Burnley. Manchester City and then Aston Villa in their first two games. Manchester City, of course, have the Super Cup, which we will be showing live here on LFS. Man City against Sevilla in the Super Cup on Wednesday night. And they will host Newcastle next Saturday as well. Foden with a strike wide of the post. Just drifted infield there from the right-hand side, Phil Foden. Just took a snatch at the ball, but ended up behind for a goal kick. So 2.5 minutes of the 90 to go, plus any additional time. We'll see how many minutes of additional time we will see at the end of this one. I think Liverpool have looked... Liverpool? What am I thinking about? I'm trying to think about the Caicedo stuff. I'm trying to keep an idea on Caicedo tonight whilst doing this, and that's why Liverpool came to mind. That was strange. Manchester City, by the way, I think they've been okay this evening. I think they've looked decent. I think there's still a way to go before they reach their top level. But that's always the case with Pep Guardiola's team. They always build their way into the season. But tonight, they've looked quite good. They've looked quite comfortable against Burnley. 2 set-piece goals, which Guardiola would be happy with. Burnley won't be happy to concede set-piece goals, but something they can improve on. If that's the only problem they have, then they're in a pretty good position. But I think that will come with Premier League experience. Rodri. Cole Palmer. Bernardo Silva. To Laporte. And now to Vardiol. City just passing it around into the last minute of the 90. It's just gone half-time in La Liga between Sevilla and Valencia. Per pass there from Akanji. Lyle Foster has it here for Burnley at the byline, and Foster should get a corner. He does so. I'm off Manuel Akanji. He'd be disappointed in himself there, Manuel Akanji. Should have seen that out for a goal kick, but the last touch did come off him. So it will be a Burnley corner in the 90th minute of the game. So corner, left-hand side for Burnley for a consolation. Whipped in. Headed away by Laporte. Roberts with the collection. As we hit the 90-minute mark. And we will have 6 additional minutes at the end of the second half. So 6 additional minutes, of which Burnley will make another double substitution. So Sander Berge is the next player to leave the field for Burnley. He is replaced by Josh Brownhill. And the final substitution for Burnley tonight is Lyle Foster, replaced by Nathan Redmond. So another double substitution there from Burnley. Yes, Andrew, 6 minutes injury time. We've already played 1 minute of those, but substitutions might see us add another 30 seconds on the end of that 6, it seems. That'll probably be the case. And still no more further updates on Caicedo. Of course, that latest news that we got to you at the start of the second half, that Chelsea were preparing a package of around £115 million, a British transfer record for Moises Caicedo, but yet to see that bid submitted. Not as of yet, but I'm sure they will try and sort it tonight, because, of course, Brighton want this deal done before their Premier League season starts, and it starts in around about 17 hours' time. So time's running out for that deal to be done. And we will have the first yellow card of the night, it looks. Or did the referee just go back to his pocket? That was weird. Kyle Walker did go down. The referee put out his yellow card, put it back in, and is now taking it back out again. And he took a decision, made the decision. Ananas Zaroury is the first player to be booked in the Premier League this season. Of course, it's taken 92.5 minutes to get to that point, which seems pretty good, but Zaroury, the first player booked tonight. Oh, there might be a VAR check. Could be even more than yellow. This could be a red. Just seeing the replays, VAR are having a look, and it looks like a high right boot from Anas Zaroury. This could be a red card here, and the referee's going to have a look. So VAR have recommended that Craig Pawson comes to the screen to have another look at this. I think this is a red card. But just see the replay. Yeah, it's very reckless. It's a definite red. I mean, Anas Zaroury, he doesn't take an attempt at the ball. Straight down, onto the back of the leg of... He plants his right foot onto the leg of Kyle Walker. He has to go for this. I think this is a red. And this is why the referee was a bit hesitant, because he didn't want to give a card until he was certain. I think he will go here. The referee pulls out the yellow card, makes the screen symbol. The yellow card is being disregarded, so that's going away. And the red comes out, and the first red of the season goes the way of Anas Zaroury. The first player to be taken off this season, sent off in the dying seconds here at Turf Moor. Gets an applause from the home crowd. I don't know why. It was a terrible challenge. And the VAR have done their job and getting the correct decision. Anas Zaroury with a awful challenge on Kyle Walker. It's reckless. It's out of control. It's endangering the opponent. And he had to go for it. Burnley down to 10 in the last few minutes. And God knows how long we're going to have added on now. We've already been stopped for 2 minutes because of a VAR check. Which inevitably came to the right decision, nonetheless. But we'll probably be running for God knows how long now. I might get to 100. Let's go. 100 minutes. Kyle Walker has just come off here for Manchester City. So we will see who's replaced him as Alvarez takes this free kick. Header on by Vardiol. I think it was Laporte, actually. Caught nicely by James Trafford. Of course, Burnley down to 10. It was James McAtee that replaced Kyle Walker. Redmond with the switch ball. Not enough height on that one. Not enough distance. Picked up nicely at the back by City. As Burnley try and recover it at the back with Trafford. Brownhill battling for the ball, and City will get the throw in. Or Burnley will get the throw in, sorry. Well, I think the referee's got that completely right. And I can understand why. As I said initially, he hesitated a bit to pull the yellow card out, then pulled it away, put it away, and brought it out again and showed the yellow card. Then VAR recommended that he go to the screen and give to check it again. And he checked it and pulled out the red. And that's probably why he was so hesitant. He didn't want to give a red and wasn't too sure whether it was a red card. But VAR did its due diligence and did the job to help the referee out there and come to the correct conclusion. As Benson tries to give Burnley a bit of late happiness with a move forward, and they have a throw in as we surpass the initial added 6, but surely we will overrun this by a few moments, at least by Craig Pawson's point of view, with that VAR check, those substitutions as well. Long ball from the back. Taken down by Benson, battling with Gvardiol, but Gvardiol comes out the better. And Laporte goes back to Edison. Rodri, and there's a player down here for Burnley. Might be Manuel Benson. It is Manuel Benson. And Gvardiol is over there just having a check on him. The referee's just come over to make sure everything's okay. And the referee, Manuel Benson, having a chat there. He's just sorting his shoelaces out or something, and he's going off the field and will get a bit of treatment on the sideline. So Burnley only have 9 on the pitch at the moment, as it stands, with Benson getting a bit of treatment on the sidelines there. He might return to the fray in a moment. Andrew says, referee clever. He felt sorry for him. First game, first red card. So he gave yellow. VAR saying, what's happening? It's red. Yeah, indeed. Although I don't think the referee was a bit lenient. I just think the referee was unsure. Because he didn't want to make a rash decision, pull out a red when it wasn't. From his initial opinion. He initially thought it was a yellow. VAR came to the correct decision. I think the referee hesitated because he was a bit unsure about it. But well, the full-time whistle does go. I thought it was going to go on a bit longer, but the referee's had enough. And so have we. Have a full-time at Turf Moor. And what a nice opening night. A good opening night for the champions, who looked pretty comfortable throughout the game. 3 goals, a clean sheet, and a red card to top it all off. It's been a pretty good opening night here at Turf Moor. 2 goals from Erling Haaland. We thought he might get another hat-trick, but he was taken off in the second half. Rodri got the 3rd goal of the night for City, who eased their way to 3 points against Vincent Kompany's Burnley. Burnley weren't completely outdone in the whole game. They were competitive at times, but not competitive enough to hold City out or to get a result tonight. Full-time score from the very first Premier League game of the season. Burnley 0 and the champions Manchester City 3.